Everything you ever might have wanted to know about the Macra, but had way too many better things to do than ask. The Macra were a gigantic crustacean race that fed on unclean gases which were poisonous to humans. They would consume humans when possible. Eventually, the Macra fell into evolutionary decline, reverting to mindless creatures in the depths of New York. There were two known types of Macra, the original sapient species and the later predators of New Earth. Both fed upon poisonous gases and organic life forms when available. The sapient species of Macra were larger than humans, able to hold a human in one claw. They were stocky in build with large eye stalks and large claws, and had a second, smaller set of claws beneath the mouth. They were a dark, murky brown colour. They were also covered in hairs. The predator species of Macra were much larger in size, several hundred times larger than a human. They were more instinctive and less logical than the sapient Macra they descended from, having fallen into evolutionary decline. They had gigantic claws, large enough to easily hold an entire New Earth car, which were proportionally much larger than the rest of their bodies. They had glowing eyes on thin stalks and 6 spindly legs. These Macra were predators who hunted by sensing movement and showed no signs of intelligence. They also had distinctive and terrifying roars. The Macra were an ancient race of a large empire, the scourge of this galaxy, as the 10th Doctor put it. When their home planet was colonized by humans, the Macra took control of the colony and hypnotized the humans into mining gases for them. During the Eternal War, a Macra killed Gif, causing him to regenerate. Another Macra later beheaded him on Lerna. Their control over the humans on their homeworld came to an end when they were defeated by the Second Doctor, who effected an uprising on the planet and destroyed the control center with an explosion, killing the Macra in charge and apparently dooming the Macra on the planet. At some point before 2157, the Guild of Adjudicators dealt with the Macra. A sapient Macra visited Betelgeuse with a Silurian and a Sea Devil. After many billions of years, they evolved into feral beasts. On New Earth, a colony of Macra escaped from the New New York Zoo when the power broke down and survived and multiplied in the depths of the motorway in New York, feeding on the poisonous fumes and stray people who came down in their cars to the fast lane. They are apparently again doomed when by 5,053,000,053, the 10th Doctor opened the roof of the motorway, allowing the cars to escape to the upper city, depriving the Macra of food and gases. The Macra preyed on scorpion kind, though Senator Haim believed scorpion kind to be worse. Following the opening of the motorway, the Macra got a new career cleaning up the city's pollution. However, the Cybermen also used the Macra to begin disposing of non-humans. River Song had met the Macra, or at least had heard of them. In the video game Happy Death Day, played by Izzy Sinclair on the Time-Space Visualizer, a Macra was among a host of every single enemy that the Doctor had ever defeated, who were assembled by the Beige Guardian and pitted against the Doctor's first 8 incarnations. According to a joke book which the Doctor and Yaz became trapped within, Snap was the Macra's favourite card game. The Doctor labelled the Macra as the scourge of this galaxy in Gridlock, a title he also gave to Balthazar in the Infinite Quest. However, they are from different galaxies. In the Macra Terror, the Macra seem to be in charge through the porthole in the last episode is white rather than brown, a scene for which the Soul Macra prop had to be repainted. Approximately 40 years passed between the Macra's first appearance on Doctor Who and their second. This is the third longest such interval between appearances for any character or creature in the franchise. The Great Intelligence is in the lead with 44 years, then Alpha Centauri with 43 years. Axos had the longest wait to return in all media with a 39-year gap. Macra also feature in the Decide Your Destiny book Claws of the Macra, where a group of the feral kind seen in Gridlock infest a gas refinery on Earth. In Gridlock, the Doctor refers to the Macra devolving. However, in real-world terms, this is simply evolution, adaptation of a creature to its given environment. The modern concept of evolution is not progress towards anything. Rather, it's an incredibly dynamic process. Each organism traces the path of its evolution only in the direction of the greatest chances for its survival and for the fulfillment of needs within a given context. The more evolved are not those closest to a higher order ideal, but those best suited to their own circumstances. Evolution thus cannot operate in reverse. However, we might classify the degree to which a creature is primitive compared to ourselves. Anyway, that's all we need to know about the Macra via the TARDIS Data Core for Doctor Who Fan Wiki. Thanks again, my good and dear friends. Hopefully this does not get blocked. I appreciate it immensely.